My name is Dr. Sharon Michael Chadwell. Sitting with me today are Caleb Alexander and Mario Salas. Missing in action is Chris Dawkins. We have several topics we're going to talk about today, one being the Somalian issue up in Minnesota. The next topic is going to be about using GoFundMe as a go-to for funeral insurance. Another topic about a black firefighter in Bloomfield, New Jersey, who was filing a $25 million discrimination harassment suit. And then finally, the fourth topic we're going to talk about will be Trump eyeing the reflection pool for quote-unquote renovations. He wants to fix it. So it's going all the way back up to the topic number one, the Somali issue in Minnesota. The Department of Justice and the Homeland Security supposedly did an investigation on the misuse of money, federal money, by a few Somalian individuals, and from when I counted, it was like 77 of them, who misused the money for whatever reason. It's supposedly shipping money back home to their homeland in Somalia. Well, as a result of all of this, of course, kind of sounds like what they did up in, I forgot what location, with the Haitian community, about eating the cakes, killing the dogs. Well, the same thing has happened in the Somalian community, where Trump is saying that he went ahead and revoked the temporary protection status of about 300 to 400 Somali individuals, sending them back and wants to send them back to Somalia. So we're not saying that the individuals who were involved in the fraud issue with the misappropriation of money and probably illegal sending money overseas, but we are sitting here saying that you can't generalize this and say that all Somalians in Minnesota are guilty of the same. And of course, what's her name?
Ilhan Omar.
Yeah, she's very much concerned about what's going on with her people. So the other, huh?
No, I'm going. I'm listening.
So now we got this heavy emphasis on getting these people's temporary protection status, revoked, sending them back to Somalia. And then another issue we need to discuss is what is remigration and how it factors into the Project 2025 plan. So what do you guys thought about the Somalian issue?
Off the top of my head, it's just like with the Latin American Hispanic issue of deporting, arresting, harassing anyone who they may think. And I honestly believe they don't even think that. They're just picking up people, sending them, claiming they're illegal immigrants, sending them to El Salvador because their last name is Hispanic or something, or they're in a particular area where a raid is going on. This is collective racism, I would call it, or collective punishment, where you're trying to punish an entire ethnic population simply because of the misdeeds of 1 or 2 or 10 or 77. But it couldn't be all of them. But it's racism, no doubt, in the Somali case as well. So I don't know, maybe Melania Trump needs to be deported too, because she ain't from here either. So if anybody who's a foreigner is going to be a suspect, then maybe Trump's wife needs to be picked up and arrested. And I think some relative of Pan.
No, it was Caroline Levitt.
Her sister-in-law.
Thank you for correcting me on that. Has been detained or arrested or something.
Mm-hmm.
And wonder what that's going to be swept under the rug. How much you want to bet? and so this is, to me, this is just outright racism. But it's part and parcel of that Ku Klux Klan mentality. You can go back to the 1927 Klan, where all of their hatred was directed against foreigners. So you're not native born, what they meant. Mean you're born here in America, then you're a foreigner. And even if you were born here and you weren't whatever white means, then you may not be considered an American either. So, and this is just racism to the highest level. It's the worst form of racism. And so, yeah, I think we ought to be concerned. Nobody here is Somali. It doesn't matter. What matters is the difference between right and wrong. And punishing an entire ethnic group for the sins of 22 people, that would be like us going out and shooting all white people because they owned slaves back in the 1800s. I mean, this kind of stuff, collective punishment, doesn't make any sense. It reminds me of Netanyahu, what he did in Gaza, where you know, you're blaming one group and murdering an entire population. So very similar. And when you have a word for that, what is it called? Fascism.
So no, in addition to the racism, which it's overt and obvious, it's also retribution because Trump is a petty man, and so I think this is going after Ilhan Omar for all her criticism of the administration. Yeah, and then there's also a young Somali who is running for mayor. It's either Minneapolis or St. Paul, one of the predominantly Somali communities. He's running for mayor, doing quite well, and so I think this is also to prevent another Mandami situation. And so I think a lot of stuff they do is just symbolic. You have the little ugly uber racist guy who's behind the scenes calling the shots, Stephen Miller. So you have Stephen Miller and his racism who's behind the scene calling the shots. And so I think it's a combination. It's the pettiness, the attacking of Ilhan Omar. It's the fact that this is a African immigrant community.
Which been attacking her for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. So she's one of the with the Ocasio-Cortez and Ilhan Omar, and you know with that crowd, and so he's always been going after her, and it's just the same as he goes after Ocasio-Cortez, and so
she got death threats too.
Yeah. She continues to get she continues to get death threats, but it's about the pettiness and the racism combined, and so and the fact that they have a Somali gentleman, and they have a huge, vibrant Somali community. And
they're saying it's like 80,000.
I thought it was in the hundreds of thousands.
Maybe it's grown. Yeah. Last time I saw it was like 80,000.
They have a huge community.
80 to 100,000 in relation to 77 people involved in this scandal.
Yeah. And so, and it's really, for this administration to all of a sudden be concerned about corruption.
Deflection. Are we deflecting?
This man's wealth has increased by $2 billion in 10 months, right? But all of a sudden they're concerned about corruption.
So we're deflecting, trying to get our attention off of them files.
The files, the shellacking in the recent election, the fact that 7 million people gave up their weekend to come out and protest you,
the impeachment Al Green.
Yeah, so we're deflected by a whole lot. The fact that we are the laughing stock of the world. I mean, it's the fact that China owned us. We had to cave to China. With the tariff situation, China got everything they wanted. We got nothing. They still aren't importing as many soybeans as they wanted to, as they were previously. And it's just the graft and the corruption. All of a sudden, you have deals in Saudi Arabia, and now Saudi Arabia can get F-35 fighter jets. You have deals in Morocco, and now Morocco can get F-35 fighter jets. And so it's just the corruption is ridiculous that we're trying to
be a fly on the wall. Asking yourself, I wonder how many Trump towers he's planning on building in these places where they're dealing in corruption. So where's the next Trump tower in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia?
They've already got a deal for golf courses and towers and all kinds of.
So he's enriching himself like crazy. And all the time worried about 77 people that committed some fraud.
This guy is now he's multi-billionaire, and when he ran, he wasn't a billionaire. Now he's a multi-billionaire in 10 months. So that tells you the crypto and just the corruption and the payouts and all this kind of stuff. So to me, it's laughable that they are all of a sudden concerned about remittances or whatever. The average remittance of a Somali or anyone in Africa go home, it's a couple of $100. So that it's ridiculous.
Well, it'd be good to talk about the distraction, Sharon and Caleb. He's really good at distracting stuff. That Afghan national that shot the two National Guardsmen,
Yeah.
he was vetted by the CIA with supposedly with, and look, he blamed that on Biden.
Yeah.
But he
They
has,
approved it.
but yeah, but he has CIA too. Well, why didn't they vet
Right. Right.
all the people that came over?
Right.
Again, he's so concerned about it. Well, they could have done another vetting.
Yeah.
The people
Yeah.
they brought over that were.
So,
Because you work for the CIA doesn't mean you're going to be loyal to the country. So
and I think that he came under a Trump program from the first administration is how this guy came over. So it was Trump's fault that the guy was here in the first place,
Yeah.
and the guy worked for the CIA. But I mean, there's a lot of questions around that because not only the guy worked for the CIA, he's perfect patsy, but the two National Guardsmen had just became National
In
Guardsmen.
their 20s.
Huh? Yeah. So
No training.
military just became. So it's like
the
it's,
woman was
yeah.
a kid, almost 20 years old.
Yeah, it's like the perfect scenario.
They were
Of,
told that they were there in D.C. illegally.
Yeah,
Wow.
the deployment of National Guardsmen to these cities, to me, is a violation of the Constitution.
yeah, absolutely.
There's no legitimate reason to do it.
Right,
And
absolutely.
That has prompted Al Green to call
Yeah.
for his impeachment.
Yeah, it is a
I
violation.
think it's the correct thing to do.
Complete violation. Violation is the Posse Comitatus Act and a few other acts regarding the sheltering and housing of American military personnel. But yeah, no, it's highly illegal. This administration, everybody in this administration needs to go to jail. What really bothers me is these extrajudicial killings in the Caribbean. You're killing people 3,000 miles away from the United States
On boats.
on boats.
With no real intel
Right.
that they can give to the community.
Right.
I mean, at least Bush lied about the weapons of mass destruction
Yeah.
and even showed fake photos.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Trump ain't even doing that.
Nothing.
You just have to take his word for it.
Yeah.
And anybody taking Trump's word for anything is making a horrible mistake.
Absolutely. These boats won't even get close to these boats are teeny tiny fishing boats that don't even have a 3,000-mile range. They couldn't make it to America if they tried. But no, it's a huge distraction. So again, the
Next
topic,
one.
yeah.
I don't know how many of you guys and ladies have been involved in situations or seen these situations. A family member dies. Then there's a GoFundMe account being set up to raise money for burial expenses and whatever. So the question now becomes, is GoFundMe the modern day burial insurance policy?
It might be.
Yeah.
You know, and we were talking about this even before this show. Why not just go find you an inexpensive pre-burial plan, get it over with? Everybody, buy one of those plans. But invariably, there's always a family member or two that needs a GoFundMe account set up to where where you're paying in to help bury somebody. And I just don't understand.
Well, and when it could cost as little as $200 a month,
No, it's less.
70,
Yeah, less than that. Yeah.
and maybe as much as $300 a month,
Yeah.
roughly. That you could save that up and pay for the burial and not having your kids have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Or grandkids or whoever else
Yeah.
have to try and fork over that
Yeah.
money at the last minute
And the
sometimes.
younger you are, the sooner you can pay it off.
Yeah, and some of these you see them on the commercials, $15 a month, $30 a month, $29 a month, for some of these burial policies, and so hell, but I mean, that's. I'm not going to eat out this month. I'm going to stop. Just eating out one time and save that $30 and pay for my
Burial.
my burial insurance.
Or if you're going to Whataburger every day, you could pay for it a little faster. Go buy some food and cook it to save you some money.
Absolutely. So, but I mean, I don't. Let me backtrack though, because I understand the level of economic precarity in this country, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of folks get laid off. The economy is horrible. They hide the job numbers, so I'm I don't want to get in anybody's pocket, and I understand the conditions. I understand how we got here, why we're here, and why in black households money is a lot tighter. I definitely understand that. But while at the same time, this can't go on being.
Death is inevitable.
It is inevitable, right? Yeah. And it can't. This can't be our insurance policy. You know what I mean? And so the idea of leaving it continues the generational debt, because even after you pass away, that funeral home is still going to need to be paid. And so we all know people who are still paying off funeral debts. You know, I'm paying
10 years ago.
Yeah. And so it just continues this legacy of passing along debt. And so it keeps us from the next generation from getting traction, or, you know what I mean, still having to pay off mom or dad or grandma or grandpa's funeral expenses. And so, but we definitely have to find solutions to move forward and try to do better.
I know the policy I have stops payment if I get called up. So my family member doesn't have to worry about paying afterwards. So it hasn't pays in good faith, and just it is what it is.
Yeah.
But come on, family members, you guys can do better.
Yeah.
Get those policies in hand to where you're not bothering other family members.
Yeah, that's true. And so, you know, and just like you're having a hard time, everybody else is having a hard time. We can't always afford to go out and buy plates, or we can't always afford to, you know, donate here or there or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We could do whatever we can. But, you know, if just relying on, look, I'm selling a barbecue plate, or I'm doing a GoFundMe or whatever it is, you know, we do have to do a little bit. We have to do better.
Let's do better.
We do have to do better.
Think.
You know.
Next topic. So there is a black firefighter in Bloomfield, New Jersey, and he has filed a $25 million lawsuit against his fire department for ongoing discrimination and harassment. And what took it over the top was when a white fireman, threw him a rope. He had a noose on the end. And he asked the guy, you know what type of knot that is on the rope? And the brother said, I know what type of knot this is, but but let's talk about this noose. And everybody was laughing and stuff. But I thought it was an interesting story, because that is just straight up discrimination, microaggression. And I know that the brothers go through microaggression on the job. I know this. But I personally don't hear them talk about it like women talk about it. So I was glad to see him. He was comfortable in his shoes to bring this up as a fireman. And I know, Caleb, you had a situation one time where you had your security badge, where you had to use it 5 different ways to get into a building. You were still asked, what are you doing here? So the fact that this brother was willing to speak about it, I was really impressed and happy that he did, because, you know, I first of all, I wouldn't think of there was this behavior going on in fire departments. Mario?
Well, a noose is a symbol, and it's a symbol of a racist crime. That's real simple. And then for people to laugh about it because he's being made fun that way, I mean, would they laugh if, and look, I'm not saying this, but would they laugh if someone said, David Crockett was an animal, I'm going to go urinate on his grave? Would you think they would laugh about that? No, they'd probably get a riot together and try and hang you with that same noose for making a comment like that. So they can make all kinds of, they can laugh about things that are not funny, but then maybe if someone else from a different ethnic group were to make some joke about something they hold sacred, oh, they get all mad and bent out of shape. It's just like when Charlie Kirk got shot, and then people were looking at his racial record. He said racist things, and then when people brought that out, they got all mad about it. But when someone who's black brings up the fact that he was a symbol of racism by his own comments, then you get attacked for calling it what it is. So they got this double standard, they used to call that racist jokes. There was a whole slew of racist jokes that were invented in the 1900s, even 1800s, that for every category of ethnic group. A bunch of racist jokes against Native Americans, a bunch against Asian Americans, a whole bunch of them against black folk, a bunch against Mexicans, and sometimes, oftentimes in private when they're just by themselves and there's no one outside or someone that's non-white, they do that with each other to reinforce white supremacy amongst themselves. But then when someone steps out of that box and starts driving straight at you with the noose, then that's supposed to be funny? I don't think so.
No, I mean, I experienced racial incidents at Mercury Insurance and Citibank. I'll call them out. I ain't no problem calling them out. But no, with this here, get your money, brother. 25 million, a lot of money. Get your money.
I think he's going to get it.
He should.
Because
get your money.
I think he's going to get it because in Project 2025, and I forgot what it's called. I forgot this disparate impact, or I think that's it. Forgive me, but in Project 2025, basically, you know, where you could argue that the incident occurred, if you don't have the evidence, then it didn't occur.
Got
the
it.
fact that this other firefighter threw him the rope and said, well, that's a noose.
Right.
They basically helped his brother out on this lawsuit.
Right.
And they saw it. A bunch of people
saw it. But a bunch of other, were they all the other firefighters all white, or was any of them black or Latino? Anybody that could testify? That's my question. But my other thing is, dude, sometimes, you know what? Sometimes you got to take one for the team, though. Because if he wanted to know what kind of knot it is, I'd have been like, well, what kind of knot is this? You know what I mean? So we're going to identify some knots around here. We're going to identify knots. So sometimes you got to take one for the team, and you got to make racists scared again, right?
Make racists.
Make racists scared again. You got to make them scared again, because they're emboldened now. You got the pointy-headed chief sitting in the White House, so they feeling themselves. So sometimes you got to do what you got to do. If he wanted some smoke, you got to give him smoke. You got to give the people what they want sometimes, right?
Yeah. Well,
give him the smoke he wanted.
Apparently he had a crowd, whether they were all white or some white or something, doesn't matter. If they were laughing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what color they were.
Yeah.
It's something that ain't funny.
Right.
And but you're making a good point too.
Yeah.
Like Malcolm X used to make. When they're in a crowd, they're brave.
Yeah.
All by themselves, they ain't nothing.
Yeah.
Those MAGA people, same way.
Oh yeah.
They're brave when they're in a group with their hunting rifles and their camouflage suits.
Right. And a lot of times they're not even brave then.
I see symbols on them. They're real brave then.
Yeah.
But one-on-one, they're cowards.
Yeah. They're cowards. And so, I wanted to laugh too. Because we all finna laugh here. Because we finna laugh at the news, and you gonna laugh at the night up there too. We all gonna laugh. So but yeah, they're cowards, and cowards flock together, and cowards embolden each other. And again, so you have to stand up for that. If history has taught us nothing else, right? You have to stand up. And history, even Hitler, right? Hitler says if they would have stood up to me and stopped me in Munich, if they would have just had enough spine, there would have been no war. He would not have invaded Czechoslovakia. And that came from his own mouth. History has always taught us that if you stand up to these cowards, to these small people, to these racists, you can stop them from the very beginning.
Stand up.
That's all you have to do. Stand up to them.
All right, we got one more topic. So this is talk about Trump's legacy here.
Ooh,
The what legacy?
Trump's
his legacy. Do we need masks on or something?
destructive legacy. He done tore down an asbestos-filled East Wing. Okay, so now we've got people who are either in the White House or live within the vicinity of that East Wing who might have been in contact with that dust. And,
Asbestos dust.
Asbestos dust. And, they're candidates for cancer later on down the line. So we got that. But now he's eyeing the reflection pool between the Washington Monument and the Lincoln Memorial.
Big, long, culvert kind of.
Yeah, that thing is big.
Yeah.
I have stood below Lincoln sitting in his chair, looking over that pool. That's a long pool.
It is.
So he says that it's filthy.
So what does he want to do with it? He wants to turn it into gold and put a giant Trump face on it, or what does he want to do?
I've been trying to figure out what he's going to do with it. I don't know whether he's going to fill it up with cement,
Lord,
turn
this
it
man.
into a sitting area.
Right.
But he
Call
is,
it the yellow brick road.
Yeah.
he's just tearing
That
up
is-
stuff. He wants to tear up stuff right and left.
Right. So and he wants to build. Don't forget, he wants to build this giant ark.
The Trump
The
ark?
Trump. Yeah, the Trump. So he's small petty men want to build legacies, right? And that's what authoritarians do. That's what dictators do. They want to build a monument to themselves, to glorify themselves, because the people aren't going to glorify them, right? And so that's the same thing and that's the dangerous part, the dangerous thing about history. That's why Putin invaded Ukraine, because he wants to build a legacy. He wants to be Putin the Great, right? He wants to be just like Catherine the Great and all these other, Frederick the Great. Now, so when small petty men assume power, they want to leave legacies, and young men die so that old men can leave legacies. You know what I
A
mean?
young woman died because of his wanting to take control over D.C.
Yeah. It's his smallness and God, he has no taste, no class. You see pictures of the White House now with all the fake gold, and he's bought all these ceramic things and painted them gold and Home
Off of Amazon.
Home Depot or whatever they call it. What do we have here? At home, and then home. And, what's the other one? The big one, national one.
Living spaces.
Yeah, what's that? What's the big racist one?
You got Home Depot.
Road.
Lowe's.
No, not those, but the one, the big racist one that I think they Hobby Lobby. Yeah, so you go to Hobby Lobby and you get these fake ceramic things and you paint them gold and he throws them all over the White House, and it looks like the Russian something in St. Petersburg that threw up in the White House. You know what I mean?
And he also has that walkway towards the Oval. That's the outside. He has on the walls, I guess, his hero.
Oh, Lord.
Right? His hero.
Andrew Jackson, David Duke, Andrew Jackson.
One of the pictures,
The Grand Key for the Ku Klux.
one of the pictures is the auto pen.
Oh, Lord.
So let's talk about the auto pen. He signed an executive order.
Mm-hmm.
And I cracked up when I read it, right? Talking about, and I guess I'm going to have to sign up on Truth Social just to keep up with what he's talking about. But anyway, he went off into one of his late night tirades talking about he didn't sign an executive order canceling all of Biden's executive order.
Yeah.
Now, if anybody has any depth of common sense within them, do you know what all that means? All those judges, our girl, Jackson, all kind of stuff tied up in it. And I just hope that someone is sitting up there and said, "No, Pop, you ain't gonna do this."
Well, I mean,
Somebody explain
can-
what is auto pen. No.
right. So it's an electronic signature, basically. But he can. But the next president does and usually does cancel the previous presidents, especially if they're from a different party. So they do go in and issue their own executive orders.
When you,
Well, wait a minute. So
Yeah.
in this executive order, he says Biden didn't get permission from the president. Biden was the president to use the auto pen.
Yeah,
well, also auto pen is like DocuSign.
basically, yeah.
You sign in your own signature one time.
Yeah.
And then that one
just
signature
click.
is
Right.
copied.
Basically.
And it can be stamped, electronically stamped.
Basically.
On top of where the line that says.
Yeah.
That's a legitimate.
It's a legitimate signature. Every president since it was invented has used it. He was having a grandpa moment. That's all that was. It was in the middle of the night. He's slipping away. And so he had a grandpa moment. Well, I'm gonna get rid of. Somebody made him upset, and whenever he upset, he goes for one of his targets, which is either Obama or Biden or Clinton or Hillary. So he's gonna go for one.
Well, he gonna leave Bubba alone right now.
Yeah, cause he's gonna leave Bubba, cause Bubba got some secrets.
Well, brothers are burning their "Make America Great" hats again on top of that. The General Bubba popping.
Yeah, yeah. So, but no, he just had one of his singing moments. That's all that is, I think.
Well, they turn something that's normal into something ugly.
Always.
Tylenol causes autism.
Yeah.
Apples and oranges give you stomach cancer. I mean, who knows what they're going to come up with next?
Yeah.
Well, all I know is
The green, the reason why black people are so mean because greens are making them more aggressive.
all I know is this: if what's his name? Newsom becomes president,
Right.
I think he's gonna have fun canceling
Yeah.
Trump's executive orders.
I hope they have fun indicting people. That's the fun I want them to have.
Yeah.
I want them to indict Christy Nome and Pete Hegseth, and just all of them need to be
Well, see, I
indicted.
can't help but think that $40 billion we gave to that he gave to Argentina. I can't help but think
Oh yeah,
that historically that's where
the Nazis are in.
Nazis ran to, and he may be setting up operations down there.
Yeah.
All of them to run to
Well,
Argentina.
remember, he was fighting real hard to keep from the former dictator Belisario from going to prison. And he got 27 years by
Yeah,
the former president of I'm thinking that maybe that,
it was Brazil.
but see, he's doing that wherever he thinks might be a place. That's a good point. Where he could send his drones, his clowns, to places where they can't be indicted because there's no extradition.
His kids, his kids
Or they
too,
can't be in jail.
and try to hide his money. Yeah,
That's a good point. That's what Hitler did.
yeah.
I can't help but think that was part of the deal.
Yeah, absolutely. They had a whole entire Nazi rat line headed to Argentina. But no, I think my question is, what do you think? Does Newsom or whoever comes next, do they tear down this ugly ballroom, or do they keep it?
I don't know, kind of like Thanksgiving. Should we get rid of it or keep it?
Yeah,
Well, I think keep it.
keep it.
But make sure before dinner somebody in the family tells you what the real history of it was. And now we're changing, we're reimagining Thanksgiving. We could reimagine that building, take all of the pictures he's going to put in there, take them all down.
Take them all
and
down.
Rename it something else.
Yeah,
And, like taking down the Confederate statue.
yeah,
Yeah, and if you want to leave it, the Confederate statue up, then let's put the real history of it right there. This president, criminal, liar, fraudster, built this room, and now we're calling it the Martin Luther King Ballroom.
yeah. Oh God, I would love that.
Yeah.
The Barack Obama ballroom.
That being
Malcolm X Ballroom.
we're going to wrap this up because I can see my guys about to go off on the deep end on this discussion. But anyway,
Quick,
okay, got a quick,
Cool.
just
Cool.
seconds.
coup. Well, how many seconds? Coup. So, coup d'etat, Guinea-Bissau. Okay. And so, we got to throw in a little bit of African news. Coup d'etat, Guinea-Bissau, about 3-4 days ago. The generals took over. People are celebrating. Don't celebrate too soon, because it's now coming out. The president had lost the election to his rival. So the generals that took over actually are buddies with the president. So it was to keep the other party from taking power. So we can't celebrate. Of course, we look at Abraham Traore and all the other ones that we celebrate, but these guys are something completely different. Yeah, these guys some. So that's all.
All righty then. We said a lot today. We love your support. Don't forget to hit subscribe and like. Add your comments to it as well. And with that being said, this is Contemporary Black Voices, where we tell our stories our way. See you next week.
All right. Celebrating the movie Wicked.